According to the Social Security Administration, there are over 40% of workers in this country made less than $20,000 last year. The average worker of those people, the average pay was only $17,459.55. 50% of all workers in this country made less than $30,000 last year. The median wage in 2012 was $27,500.
So think about that. Just sit back and kind of absorb those numbers. Isn't that amazing? There's so many people that are actually, look, we're producing more than we ever have. Production is off the charts, but wages have stayed flat since 1980s, roughly, right? And so we've got this huge gap going on between productivity and wages. And I think the reason that you have so many people that are making so little bit of money is the fact that you've got, I mean, a lot of these middle-class jobs are gone. And, of course, with that, you've got people making less money, but you've also got people at the top that have outsourced a lot of these. They were American jobs, but now they're outsourced to places like Bangladesh and India. And it's really important to point out, too, that Bangladesh just finally passed a minimum wage law.
Yes,
which is kind of
I
fascinating.
remember hearing about that. And wages have remained stagnant since the 70s. And economists are saying that we've experienced what they are calling a lost decade, where there has been absolute stillness in our wages, and when you're taking into account
Inflation, right?
Inflation, we're actually making less than we did. However, not workers, but earners making $5 million a year or more have seen a total wage increase of over 40% just in the last few years. The top 10% of the richest people in this country, the top 10% of highest earners in this country, took 50% of all of the nation's income in 2012.
And let me make it clear. We're not beating up on the rich. This is math. This is math. So if you think we have a grudge against the rich, no, we don't. We're actually doing the math. And we actually look at the effects of the massive income inequality that we have because of this. Just knowing that half of the population, what was it? Half of the population makes under $30,000 a year?
40% of all workers in this country make less than $20,000 a year, and 50% make less than $30,000 a year.
Jesus Christ! You can't even live on your own if you're making that much money. You got to understand that if a family is making under $20,000 a year, most likely they have to apply for government benefits.
Right, that's below the poverty level.
In many, many places it is. And so, yes, it depends on your circumstances. Yes, it depends on if you have a family or not, which a lot of these people probably do. And so, I mean, here's the effect of this is that now you've got this class of people that make so little money that they have to depend on the government to survive. Now, the conservatives will love to say is that, oh my God, you're making people dependent on government. Okay, pass a minimum wage. Pass a higher minimum wage, and then suddenly you will see many people not dependent on the government.
Right.
But
exactly.
But then, of course, the argument will say, well, you're going to push more people out of the market into unemployment. We already have massive unemployment. We already have that problem. You get more people making more money that are going to spend that money, you're going to create demand, and that's going to help with job creation. Simple as that. It's economics.
The richest 1% in this country make over 300 times that of the average worker in this country. Not the lowest earners, the average earners.
The regular Joe, the guy that's working in an office, maybe a white-collar job.
So even if you, yeah, I mean, we're not dissing on rich people, but do you honestly think that they work over 300 times harder than the workers that they employ?
Not only that, but their business depends on customers, consumers that can buy their stuff. When you have a consumer base that continuously has to buy cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, your crap is going to have to get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And then you turn into Walmart essentially.
And if you want to incentivize people to do a good job at what they're doing and, not slack off and be a good worker, then pay them a living wage.
Because you know what? Minimum wage pay is going to get you minimum wage work.
Right. And even if it's not extremely skill-based work, they still deserve, for their time and for their effort, 40 hours a week, they still deserve to earn a living.
Now, I kind of hate the idea where you say that these workers, we're going to pay them what they're worth, right? I don't, for some reason, that rubs me the wrong way, because you're putting a value on people, right? It's okay to put you're supposed to put a value on their work, and I understand that, but it seems like you're putting more of a value on people and saying, well, we're paying them what they're worth.
Right.
Right? And usually that's really, really low. Unless you're a high-end CEO or have some good marketable skills. But even if you do have good marketable skills, like engineers, look at how many engineers are still out of work here in America.
And how many of them are graduating every year, and there just are not enough jobs to fill those positions. I mean, people who are callous say, well, if you don't want to work for minimum wage, then quit that job and just get
a
another
better
one.
job.
Well, that makes a lot of sense in an economy where there are four job applicants for
I
every
believe
job
there are
opening.
three. The newest is there are 3 job seekers for every open job in America, and that's an average.
Mm-hmm.
It's worse in places. It's better in others.
Right.
Because you do have these places where they're having oil booms, and of course
Yes.
there's lots of jobs there, more natural gas booms and stuff like that, and it's incredibly dangerous work, but it does pay. It does pay, and it is better pay than working at McDonald's, which a lot of these people end up working. A lot of these engineers will end up working in fast food. I know there was a time where I worked as an inventory specialist. It sounds more fancy than it was. I still made minimum wage, and I worked with somebody who had an engineering degree doing that job, and I asked, why don't you have a better job? I can't find one. There's nothing around here. There's nothing. And so, to those people who say, get a better job, that's not always immediately possible. There involves a lot of relocation, even, that you might have to do, and don't even get into the fact that you need a lot of networking to even get a good job, too, which some
Right.
people don't have access to. Not everyone knows a business owner. Not everyone can get to know a millionaire to start their own business. It's not always conceivable. And to the people that I can actually network like that, awesome, good job, great, good for you. You know what? But we want that type of being able to have that opportunity for other people too.
Right. Yeah, not everyone has the same opportunities. Not everyone has the opportunity to just up and move wherever they supposedly need to get a better job. I mean, what if you have an elderly parent that needs you to stick around and you can't afford to move them with you? What if you can't afford to move, period? It takes a couple $1,000s at least to move somewhere and get the moving van and have the deposit ready and find some place to land once you get there. And
then, of
they're
course,
just not
children.
enough jobs. Children. Some people have disabled children. I mean, just there's no telling the amount of possibilities that could complicate someone's life. And I'm just, I get so frustrated when people try to place judgments on people that they've never even met and make assumptions about them that, well, they're just not trying hard enough, or sounds like a personal problem. No one asked them to have children, or some sort of callous nonsense like that. It's like, you don't know their life.
You don't know
It's
that, man.
Yeah, and my whole philosophy is it better to feed those that deserve it and let the ones that don't slip by than to let anyone go without just to make sure, just to spite those that, might play the system.
Anybody who has, I guess a sense of community and a sense of, hey, you know what, I want to care for my fellow man is going to understand that and going to go, hey, you know what, I would rather, yes, the majority of people who need it get it. We want to pitch in together. We want to help each other and all that because there is a sense of community. Humans love to work together.
And getting back to this story of, over half the country almost living below the poverty level, we need a living wage in this country. We are falling behind insofar as civilized, modernized countries in this world. We we need a living wage. Australia has a living wage. Um, Many countries in Europe have a living wage. Norway, Sweden, Canada. Um, and you know what? The same fast food restaurants and the same Walmarts that exist here exist in those places, and they still make a profit, and they still find it worth their time and effort to be there, paying what they are required to pay by law. So,
They get it. You know what? You treat an employee good, and you get it back.
mhm.
You treat your employee like he's somebody worthwhile. He or she is someone worthwhile, someone worth keeping around, and they're going to repay that loyalty with hard work.
Yes, I agree, absolutely. They're going to have more respect for their job and the people that they work under and with.
Right. And it's not everybody, of course. You're going to get those slacker assholes that lick the taco shells, but you know what? You can fire those guys. You can fire those jokers. I mean, but in most circumstances, you treat your employer or employee like they're a human being, and you work with them, and you get them involved in the process of making decisions, and you're going to have a loyal employee base. You're going to have less employee turnover, which reduces your costs of training people, by the way. You're going to save money in the long run if you make, if you make your workplace a place where people actually want to work and can
Yeah, and
afford to live off of.
you're going to get a lot better employee loyalty, and yeah, you won't have that turnover rate that's
And
just
it translates
so
into better
rapid.
service. It also translates into better service.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And for those people that are still trying to um, pass around that, propaganda that it's going to raise the price of goods so much. I mean, it's not going to be a dollar for dollar raise. I don't know why people. That's not how the economics works. If you raise the minimum wage by twice as much, you're not going to get suddenly $10 bottles of juice or whatnot. It's going to be for most grocery type items, it'll be a fraction of a cent that it'll go up, or a fraction of a percent. I'm sorry, a percent. Um, that it'll go up. Fast food will go up a little bit more if the greedy
McDonald's is
see it.
already getting rid of their dollar menu, sort of. They're
Right,
getting rid of some items on their dollar menu and raising prices on others. So they're
right, but
already doing that without having to raise a minimum wage. So
well, yeah, and the whole thing is that even if it goes up by 50 cents, for one thing, who cares? No one needs to eat fast food anyway. It's hardly even food. And for another
but we
thing,
could if we wanted to.
you could
Personally,
if you wanted to. And another thing is that the only reason they would raise the prices of their goods at all is because that they're so greedy that they're not willing to take a cut from their own profits and their own wages that are multi-billions of dollars as it is. They don't
what
need
was
to
it
raise
that
the prices.
what was it? The CEO of McDonald's got a triple raise. He
Mm-hmm.
tripled the amount that he took home last year.
Yes.
Makes $10 million a year. Come on, dude,
Mm-hmm.
bring it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, they're hiring people to instruct their workers on how to apply for food stamps. I don't think we need to fear wealth distribution insofar as getting it more balanced in the favor of those who work hard and get practically nothing, because there's already been a wealth redistribution in this country, and it's gone from the hands of the workers to the hands of the rich, and it's skewed. It's skewed in their favor, and we need to stop it and put a stop to it and get money out of politics so that we can give our workers a fair living wage so that we can have a strong working middle class again.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and share with your friends. If you want to see more, go to our channel at youtube.com/TYTNation. And if you really want to support the show, support this channel, go to our fundraising campaign at www.patreon.com/TYTNation. The website is in the description below. Thank you guys, and keep watching.